What's up, everyone? It's your host, Jen, and we're here to spill the tea and throw some shade. Let's get into it. Hey, guys. I have a special guest with me today, and her name is Trinity. She works with us at Monaco, and she's our lead skin educator and skin specialist working out of Monaco, Mississauga, and Dundas. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Trin, have you ever been on a podcast before?
Never. It's a goal of mine. It's
Really?
a bucket list, yeah.
Well, like now, if you want to just use it for whatever you want,
Yes.
you can. I love hearing your rants.
Yes, I have a lot.
So if you know Trinity or you follow her, she has a big TikTok following.
Yes.
And has been very active on our Monaco Instagram as well.
Yes, for sure.
So, Trin, I mean, how do we meet each other? Let's start there.
I think I DM'd Monaco because I was working as an esthetician and I wanted to move to something more med spa, more fancy, if you will. And I loved Monaco. I almost booked an appointment there back in 2018. And I'm like, okay, let me DM them. And I think that's how it started. And then you guys kind of saw all my social media pages, and yeah, from there it's been great.
And I was like, I absolutely love this girl. I want to bring her in, and and we met and we hit it off well. And you know what? You had so much knowledge about skin, which was the most important part. And I was like, I want her on our team.
Yes.
So, how long have you been with us for, Trin?
Over a year now, a year and a bit, I think, almost a year and a half, probably somewhere in there.
How did you get into this industry?
So I was originally studying psychology, and I kind of had what I call my quarter life crisis. And I was like, what am I actually doing with my life? I was losing my passion for psychology, especially just because my profs at the time were very sexist and a little racist, to be honest. And the papers I was writing were very breaking down police systems, and my profs really didn't like that. So I was kind of stonewalled at one point, losing marks on an essay I spent so much time on because it was too controversial. And I kind of lost all my passion. I was like, hey, I don't actually want to do this. Also, if anyone knows anything about psychology, you have to be in school for a good 10 years. And I'm like, I'm over it at this point. And then I went to get lip filler done for the first time, and I was talking, ranting. It's always a therapy session.
Yeah, you're bitching, and then you have this self-discovery moment.
Yeah, exactly. And she suggested, why don't you get into this industry? You like art, you like all this stuff, try it. So I shadowed at an aesthetic school for a day and was like, okay, yes, this is where I need to be. That's
awesome. And you also recently got accepted into nursing.
Yes.
Woohoo! Sorry, we need another applause for you. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Sadly, you are reducing your hours, of course, because you have to, because school and stuff. But you'll still be, around to help us.
Exactly. Part-time. I'm going to definitely grind it out in a day, kind of 1 or 2 really long days, because I do want to keep my clientele. I still love what I do, but I do also need to really focus on school. I'm a big school person, so I want to study.
Very academic. You love learning. That's one thing I know about you. And you love teaching. You're a great teacher as well. What made you want to go back into nursing? I can never stop at a level. I always have to continue. Even when I start nursing, I know I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to want to go for the next level of nursing. Which is NP maybe?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the plan, because I can never stop. I have to keep going. And school is something I love too. Saying goodbye to school forever is going to be so sad.
No.
So I can't. I'm too ambitious. I just want to keep going.
Right. And you know what? I've thought about NP and going back to school. It's just so hard with the business. And I think at the point with kids, but I see what you mean. You're always looking for something else to build and grow on, whatever that may be. For me, it's another location. Yeah. So just different forms of growth. But I think that's amazing that you're constantly being stimulated and wanting to grow yourself personally. And I think it's healthy. Sometimes when you get into that stagnant, you're kind of just, some people are happy with it. I just feel what's the point?
Yeah.
You want to have goals and ambition.
You're supposed to progress. You're supposed to always better yourself and like learn more and be able to do more. And I think, yeah, like if you're just stagnant, like what is the point of that?
Right. How was the application process for getting into nursing?
It was very good for me. I had like a lot of university already. I've always been like a really good average student, and luckily my mother in high school like forced me to take chemistry, biology, and math all the way up, even though I didn't want to. I'm not a math person. Science, I'm okay, but chemistry. So she forced me to do it. Luckily, because of that, I thank her, I had all the prerequisites. So I didn't have to go back to like high school, get prerequisites or they have the like pre-health pathway if you don't have the proper ones. So when I applied, it was pretty easy. I think within a month I got an acceptance, and I was like, oh, look at this.
And you're doing it online exclusively, or how does that work?
No, it's mostly in person, actually. So
okay, that's even better.
They're back in person, which I prefer. I did a lot of my psych schooling online, and I'm not a fan of online learning. It's
I need more motivation.
Exactly.
Like,
I want to be
home.
there. I want to ask questions online. It's like, yes, I can do it anytime, but then you get so distracted by like your phone, or like you're in your home environment. I feel like you're not in the mindset of learning. When I actually go to class, I'm like, okay, mindset switch kind of thing.
Absolutely. Now, what are your top 3 rankings for type of nursing you want to get into?
Oh, aesthetics. Obviously.
You're like, that's the only one. That is the only way.
That's literally.
We already promised you a job. We're like, you're going to be an injector with us. So introducing Trinity, the nurse injector.
soon to be. Yeah, that. I also wouldn't mind doing, because I'm going for RPN, but I definitely want to bridge to RN. And once that happens.
Is that a 3-year? Or no? RPN is.
Here it's a 3-year. In New York, it's an 8 months. So I'm probably going to do it there. And you can do it online, and your placement is like working in the hospital.
Oh, nice.
So they have a really good program there. I think Nicole, that's what she did. She did it all in New York as well, even to get her NP. So she was kind of explaining that process to me. I'm a dual citizen, so it's really easy for me to do anything there, and especially online. But if once the RN kind of comes, I wouldn't mind being like ER nurse. Like,
nice.
Yeah, my whole family on my dad's side is military, so they're all like, everyone's a first responder. I wouldn't mind being in like that kind of high pressure.
I used to work in Emerge. Actually, like way before. I was only in it for like 6 months though. You'll see what you like because they're so different, right? And you might love that change going from one to the other. Yes. What I will say, personal experience might not be the same in every ER, but and the nurses are extremely talented. They work very quickly. They're very sharp. Actually, they have the same mentality as you would, where academics and like striving for more was always there. And I noticed that in this particular group of staff I worked with. They were very motivated, driven people, but also, there are cliques. Yeah. So in any hospital, I'm sure there is, but there, if you didn't know what you were doing, you get eaten alive. It's kind of like the nurse eat their young vibes. So I didn't love that, but otherwise I think it's great. You'll work your way up with skills, and then your phlebotomy will just get that much better. Like taking blood work and doing your IVs and all those skills. Yeah. So I think you love the change for sure. So, like, congratulations on that. We're going to miss you.
I know. I'll be here, though.
Seeing you as much.
Yeah, I'll definitely be here.
So, and then going back to your social media, because you are a Jane of many trades. You're helping us run our social media because I know how strong you are in this background and your passion for marketing too. Yes. So tell me how you grew your TikTok. Like, how did that happen?
So I think originally I was trying to break down the algorithm. I'm like, okay, how do you go viral? There's got to be a formula, and there is a formula. It might have changed slightly, but it's literally consistency, like posting all the time and creating like a niche, like what your account's about. So when I first started, I was actually in more of a like cryptocurrency space.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of what I was into. That's what my boyfriend actually does, is he trades. He started off in crypto, now he's in Forex, but I was learning a lot about it, and there's not a lot of women in that industry. So I was kind of like educating women about it. That's how I originally went semi-viral. I would say that's like the first 5,000 to 8,000 followers I got. Then I kind of got into this industry, got the passion for it, switched everything to skin, and then started posting really consistency, education. Then I posted my before and afters of all the work I've had done here.
Was it the one that we just recently posted?
Yes, we posted on
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I know. It's such a crazy difference. Those 2 pictures, it was like literally 2 pictures. My caption was like nothing. I don't even know if I put hashtags on it. It went so viral. People went crazy. There was nice people, but then there's also like people who really hate on any work done. It's like, oh, you've had too much plastic surgery. And I'm like correcting everyone. I'm like,
you're like, actually, no plastic surgery.
This is not plastic surgery.
Right.
So yeah, I think that was the main one. And then I did another before and after, and same thing. Like they just go viral. So now I'm like, I'm posting them. Yeah.
Good for you. That's awesome. Now, how do you handle these trolls when you're posting?
So when I first started, I definitely would read all the comments. I would say in the beginning, especially the first video that went viral, it definitely affected me a lot more. Not in the sense where I'm like internalizing it, but it's like, it's pissing me off. I'm like, screw you, like shut up. So I would respond very like sarcastically. And now I'm like, okay, I'm just going to delete it. Because it's like, why am I giving these people room to talk? It's about me. But yeah, when I first got it, I was definitely a lot more affected by what they say. I think it kind of just angered me because I'm like, who are you to say that? Like, you're just rude, like rotten people.
Yeah. Can you pull up their comments?
No, I turned off all the comments on it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you turned it off. Did that make you like feel good? Like after you, because it does delete their comments or just like hides it?
It might hide it. I can probably turn them back on. Let me see.
Let's like read through them.
Yes.
And talk about how they make you feel. We had a recent one about like Barbie talks, and anytime you use Barbie and you advertise it in a med spa where you sell Botox and fillers, you can get some hate, and I was kind of expecting it. But the other thing is those comments increase your engagement. So even if it's like positive or negative, I guess like I've learned to, I guess, and promote that dialogue is what I'm trying to say. So,
here we go.
So it's not so bad, especially on a business page. Can you see them?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So let's read through them.
So how many comments were on this? So there was 700 comments on this.
Okay.
thing.
Tell me some negative ones.
Someone said that every time they see me, I look crazy and I need to stop. And it's like, because I do post my progression. To me, I look way better now than I did overfilled.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But like, how did that make you feel? Do you ever feel like you look crazy?
No, but no, I think I look fantastic.
I think you look so amazing. And you know what? We need more women that feel that way about themselves and can say like, I look fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad that we can't say these things about ourselves because then we sound arrogant?
Oh, I know. It's like, it's a lose-lose for us because it's like, you think you look good, you're confident. It's like, oh, you're a stuck-up bitch. And then if you aren't, then it's like, oh, you're so insecure and sad. So it's like, you can't win.
The other thing I find is like, if you're, there's a lot of shaming that goes on Instagram. Like if you're skinny and you're talking about something, people are like, oh, like it's because you're skinny. You don't understand how it is for me. And I'm like overweight or whatever. But like if I had a disability and I looked like, you know, someone unfortunate, then you get way more support on there.
Yes.
It's like so hard that people want to see others struggle.
Yes.
But they also, on the odd spectrum, want to see perfect looking people. It's like you get both.
Exactly. In like magazines, on social media, it's like everyone wants to look perfect. They're photoshopping, but then they hate on everyone else that does that or like looks perfect, quote unquote. Yeah. It's
How do you feel about the filters that, you know, sometimes are on social media, especially from a med spa perspective? Like sometimes I'll be honest, like on our reels, when we like pose, like we're acting and joking around, there's like a little bit of a filter. It's like obvious kind of.
Yeah. We're all like, okay, put the filter on. I think we've all become very dependent on filters to feel confident. And I think it started off with Snapchat. Snapchat was the only one that had filters. Instagram didn't have them back in the day. People were just like editing.
You have to be yourself.
Yeah, like you have to be yourself. But then people were like full on photoshopping, and now everyone's just using filters. But I think we've become so dependent on them, and it kind of like distorts how you see yourself, especially if you're only taking pictures of yourself without a filter. And that used to be me, like, especially before I had anything done. Like every single one of my pictures would have a filter, and I'd be like making this like stupid kissy face because I was so insecure about my lips. But that's like how I saw myself, was through a filter. So now I like genuinely make an effort to take pictures of myself without
a filter.
Yeah.
So you can look at yourself and like what you see, and like,
Exactly.
and like lower your standards of like what you expect to see back, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's hard because if you're with someone who's like, it's just like being beside someone that has like full face of makeup, you feel like you're dead beside them.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, my under eyes.
Right. So I agree with you. It's like, I'm trying to do that as well. And it's so hard. And the technology is getting like crazy good. Now you can do like AI stuff with like your face and everything.
Insane.
So I think it's hard because it's what's motivated our industry to get bigger.
Yeah.
People aspire to be their filters.
Yes.
But at the same time, it really hurts people's self-esteem. So we're kind of in that boat where it's like you can never really win.
No. And
like when you're promoting self-care and like self-love and enhancing your face.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's definitely a fine line between like the self-care and like wanting to change yourself because of underlying insecurities, for sure. Because like me, I had to, before I even got through any of that, I'm like, okay, I have to deal with my inner self before I'm going to now like change things about my face or like enhance them. Because when I first started, I got lip filler only. I was so insecure about my lips. I had really, really thin lips, and I overdid lip filler like crazy. I know when you first saw me, I had like way too much.
I was
lip
like,
filler.
we need to hyaluronidase that.
Yeah.
But first, I was like, it's okay. We'll figure that out after.
Yeah. So it was way too much. And that's kind of how you go overboard, because it's like, I'm only dealing with an insecurity. So I did dissolve completely, which hurts a lot, by the way. And I had nothing else, no chin filler, nothing to balance. And then I was more like, okay, I'm enhancing what I naturally have, and I want more of a full facial balance. And I think it looks so much better doing it that way, more subtle. Like I did much less than I did before, but in just so many other areas, to have more like my full face just like enhanced, rather than one specific insecurity being completely targeted.
Yeah, no, your lips look really good right now.
I'm much happier with them.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're nice and plump and full. And you're beautiful. You don't need a filter, honestly. So tell me about some other negative comments that have really stuck in your head that bothered you from these trolls.
Yes, let's
like it makes you angry.
Yeah, it definitely made me more angry than like insecure.
That's good. And that it wasn't insecurity.
Yeah, I kind of had to deal with that a long time ago, my own insecurities and just being confident in myself. But these just more made me angry because I'm like, the audacity of some people. Like there's one, it's like, you shouldn't have filled your lips, only the top one a little bit less in your lower jaw, maybe some more chin filler. It's like, how are you analyzing?
Click on their profile.
Yeah, it's like a blank profile, like one follower, no profile picture.
They're literally just someone that wants to bring people down and hurt others. And it's always those fake accounts. It's like, you can't just be like straight up yourself you know, own it. If you have an opinion, you have to hide behind a screen and put other people down. It's really sad. And you don't even know their expertise. Like, who is this person?
I know. It's like, how do you see something online and just feel so confident to comment these things? But that's the thing with social media has done, is everyone is like a keyboard warrior. They have this confidence that no one would ever say this stuff in person. Like if I was sitting in front of all these people, they're very, very few would actually say anything. And if they did, they'd probably say it a lot nicer. Whereas like online, we're hiding behind this screen, like the Wizard of Oz, we're saying whatever. Yeah. So I think it gives people that confidence to be rude.
It's interesting because I remember doing just a little story where I was talking, and I don't realize that my left eyebrow likes to like move by itself. I can't even do it consciously. And I didn't notice it. And the person was like, "What's wrong with your eyebrow?" And it was someone from this fake account. I think if someone's really insecure and like just trying to like look good on social media and they heard something like that, it's really mean when people like comment like that without like providing support or identifying who they are. So I was kind of just like, okay, well, why do you care? But thank you for your concern. I really appreciate how much you care about me and my eyebrows. So I usually just throw a sarcastic remark back. But I think for those that are really insecure and they see these negative comments, you know, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just that people are haters because if they see you doing well, they're going to want to put you down. And that's my rationale. So if you have more haters, you're probably way more successful.
Exactly.
Right?
For sure.
In your life, or they've perceived it that way, that they feel motivated enough to put you down.
Yeah. I always try to think of it. This is not about me. This is about them. If they are feeling this hateful, want to put out this negative energy into the world, it's because they have their own things that they're dealing with. This really has nothing to do with me. And that's why I kind of just turned off the comments. I'm like, I don't even want to give them the platform to express their negativity and have it kind of in your space. Yeah, in my space.
And actually, that's a really good thing. Now, opinion-wise, do you think on Monaco, because we do get trolls, that we should be turning off our comments on certain ones? Or what are your thoughts?
I think Monaco, it's because it's a business, it might be a little different because people do ask genuine questions about our services. Maybe on the more like funny personal ones, yeah. But there's also so many people that show love, and it's like maybe just delete the trolls is what I would probably do. Just like don't even give them the platform to express that, because then that makes them almost feel important enough to like affect you and have an opinion. And it's like, you don't, your opinion's irrelevant if you're going to be rude like that. But.
Right. Now there is a restrict option on Instagram, and what it does is it allows them to see their comments they're putting out, but no one else actually sees them, and they do not know that they're restricted.
Right.
The only thing I was concerned about with like blocking people that are really negative and mean towards our company that consistently post is that if you block them, they find another account and they start to come on and do it. That happened in 2020 when we were doing mandatory COVID swab testing for every patient coming in, just because nobody knew what COVID was or how deadly it was. And so we were trying to protect our clients that still wanted to come for services. So when I put that post out, we got a lot of hate from people all over North America. Hundreds of comments, reposts. People would copy and paste our post and put it on their page and say like, don't go there, they're stealing DNA. It was really crazy accusations, and people just don't know us, right? Yeah. They don't know that we're trying to protect our clients and our staff. So at that point I was like, oh my God, someone's going to come to my house and like try to kill me or something. Like, I don't know, like there's so much hate out there. And then I started blocking people and deleting comments, and then they were telling their friends that they were getting blocked and deleted, and it motivated them more. So then I'm like, is the restrict option better? Is like turning off comments better? Like, is it going to make them? So I was like, I just didn't know what to do at the time because I didn't want to channel more anger.
Right.
So I was like, this was a crazy time. But I mean, outside of that, I think you're right. Just turning off comments is fine.
Yeah. Or deleting them so that people who have like positive things to say or like even questions can. Right. I would just delete them. Like as a business, it's like, okay, we don't need that. And we don't want our other clients to see that either, I would say. Like the other people to see that. Because then sometimes it indulges. Like I've seen someone will comment something negative, and one of like the people who are more positive towards us will then respond to them. And then they get into their own argument in the comment section. And I don't think like allowing the platform for that is just a good idea, because you don't want... Because people will want to defend us if they love us, you know, they know who we are, what we stand for. They might try to defend us. And it's like, now they're kind of getting affected by this one person's negative energy. And that's why I'm like, just delete it.
That's true. And then I was like, the other thing you could do is defend a negative comment that's seen by someone else, because they forget that these are people we're posting with feelings and emotions and, you know, an experience positive that they wanted to share, and they're doing it willingly, like voluntarily for someone else to bash us, but indirectly them. Yeah. So it's like hard, because do we show the defense side like, I mean, just deleting it. Now, have you found that deleting comments has affected your engagement because you're reducing the amount of comments on the page?
Yes. A little bit, I would say, but there's that whole thing that they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I slightly disagree. I think there still is, because even though that's what I would do when I got all the negative comments, I would almost like have a sarcastic reply so that they would respond, because then they're coming back to my video, getting more views and all that. And it's like, yes, that's good, but in the end, it's like, I don't want this as a part of my life. I don't want to be responding to these comments. So I'd rather just like kind of take the L on the engagement and just not be dealing with this.
Exactly. How many followers do you have now ish?
TikTok, I think around 14,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. So it's like micro influencer, I guess. Some of my videos have like 500,000 views, which is really good. So
Which videos would you say have the highest engagement?
my before and afters.
Really? Yeah, that's cool.
My before and
Awesome.
afters for
Of
sure.
yourself personally.
Yes, of myself, of like my transformation. And the other thing is people are like, oh, like you look so much older. And I'm always like, there is like a good 6 to 7 year difference between these pictures. So it's like,
By the way,
of course I'm going to look older. I think my before picture in the one that we posted, I was like 16. It's like,
yeah, we look so much better with a little bit of age, I think is like nice,
exactly.
right?
It's like, oh, you look so much older. It's like, yeah, I was 16 there. Now I'm in like my mid 20s.
Yeah, you're like,
of course
so
I look
different.
older.
Yeah. And how would you rank, TikTok versus Instagram? Like, what's the difference between them and the type of content you would be posting?
I find I like TikTok better. I find the algorithm is more like friendly to you, whereas Instagram had an update like a few years ago, maybe 3 to 4 years ago, where it's when they changed it to not be in chronological order. Hashtags don't mean anything anymore. It's more like search engine optimization, and that kind of ruined Instagram for me because they didn't show your posts they show your post to like 5% of your followers, if not even less, right? So it just was harder to reach people. I find Instagram is more of a portfolio of your work, especially if you're like a service provider, if you're doing something, have a business, it's more of like a portfolio of like what you guys do, who you guys are, that kind of stuff. Whereas TikTok is more raw. It's more like rants, like me just like walking, having a video and just like ranting about it. And it's a lot easier to reach people in the area. So like client wise, I've never had a client be like, oh, I found you off Instagram. I've had multiple clients say, I saw you on TikTok. Aww. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like so
celebrity.
I'm like, oh my God.
Thank you.
But yeah, because TikTok does prioritize showing your videos to local people.
I noticed that because I'm like seeing only like local people on my thing, which is great.
Best thing to do in Toronto, best thing to do in Hamilton, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it
that's
shows
perfect.
it.
In your demographic and
area. Yeah, exactly. So it's more targeted, whereas Instagram is more worldwide. Like your reels will be shown all over the place, right? It might be a little bit local, but they show them everywhere. Whereas like TikTok more prioritizes local and then also your niche. So like skin, I had to like change my whole algorithm to be like a skin niche. So all the videos I see are about skin injectables, which means my videos now are also going to be shown to people who are interested in that. Are they searching up skin? Okay, now I'm more likely to be shown in their feed, and they're local. So it like all fits together nicely in TikTok. Yeah.
Do you like being in the skin niche? Do you think that's like where it's going to be in the future for you?
Skin and injectables. I'm definitely going to like document my journey going through nursing school, especially because my full intention is aesthetic nursing. And that's probably not the most like popular thing.
No, it's not. I mean, a lot of people are in the aesthetics and they want to see that, but a lot of people really want to know how you got there. It helps with motivation and inspiration into like getting into this field. Yeah. It's very difficult now. So
yes, I've heard. I'm very fortunate to have already been here.
Yeah. So there was an accomplishment with SkinCeuticals that you had, and you told me about this at our initial interview together.
Yes.
So tell me about that with working with SkinCeuticals.
So I was in the top, I think it was the second sales for them for their like the skin products. So in Canada, like period.
That's pretty awesome because SkinCeuticals is sold worldwide.
Yes.
And many clinics carry their products.
Yes.
So like, how did you get there?
I think even though I sometimes feel like I wasted my education of psychology, I do think it taught me a lot. And I think just delivering the information to people in a way that they can receive, because every person's different and everyone learns a little bit differently. So you kind of just like, I'm really good at reading people, especially my clients, because especially like in a facial, you're in a more intimate setting. I can kind of read them and I try to adjust how I explain things. And I think the best thing for people when they're buying medical grade skincare is explain to them, one, why it needs to be medical grade. Why can't I just go to Sephora or Shoppers Drug Mart and buy something? And two, explain the science behind why the thing that I'm suggesting to them will work for them. And SkinCeuticals is an amazing brand. Once you get people on it, they start seeing results and they're like, okay, I understand. Yeah, I want to stick with this. And it's like a few investment products. I always say like, yes, if you want, you can have like a full skincare routine from SkinCeuticals, like cleanser, moisturizer, serums, all that good stuff. But a lot of people, especially now in this economy, are on more of a budget.
Right.
So I'm like, prioritize what your skin concern is. We'll get a few target products and then other things we can get from like Shoppers Drug Mart kind of thing.
Okay, so going back to the products that you recommend for different skin types, you did touch on discoloration defense for pigmentation, melasma, that sort of thing, brown spots.
Yeah.
Any other products that you recommend for specific skin condition?
For different conditions, so rosacea, redness, phytocorrective line is amazing. It does so well. It helps prevent against those environmental triggers. It's going to neutralize the redness, and it's really, really good. They have a serum form, the gel. They have a mist, which is really good for on the go and can be used over makeup. Especially in the summer, I find like we're hot. And if you have rosacea, you know heat is a huge trigger, right?
Absolutely.
So you're out in the sun, you're getting red. A quick mist is going to be very cooling, but it's also going to soothe the redness. And then depending on the severity of rosacea, sometimes they can handle a tiny bit of an exfoliation. So the Phyto A Plus brightening is really good. It's got azelaic acid in it.
I love that product.
Yes. So it's just like a gentle exfoliation, because a lot of times when you have rosacea, your skin's extremely sensitive. You can't handle something like a lactic acid, lactic acid is super gentle, but it's still going to irritate it if you have more severe rosacea. Now, the super severe rosacea, I'm like, no exfoliation, just hydration at that point. But that's kind of determined with a skin specialist, essentially, how kind of severe it is.
Okay, awesome. So you have like all these. Skin is, I think, more complicated than injectables. I'm going to be honest. It's like completely different. So, but it'll be really nice for you to be able to integrate both of them when you get into nursing. Because I feel like a lot of nurses go in and they focus on the injectables, but they forget about the skin.
And they work nice together.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, that nurses are so injection focused?
I think because that's kind of in their minds what they're here to do. They're like, I'm here to do Botox and filler, and like, that's it. And then they kind of forget, like, yes, Botox and filler are going to get your client a result, but if you don't focus on the skin, one, you're using so much more product to make up for it, and two, they're not going to get that actual full transformation that they're looking for. You kind of need to marry the two together. And I think just because it's so like clinically based when you're a nurse, you're thinking about like all your nursing school and all your injectable training, and you're kind of forgetting about the whole skin part, because one, it's not average a part of the training. Two, that's something you kind of learn along the way, but that's kind of in your mind what you're here to do is like Botox and filler, not skin services. So I find the nurses definitely just, as soon as they have something skin, they just immediately kind of don't know what to say, come to us and are like, what do I recommend?
What do I do? Yeah, because there's such a big learning curve there. Yeah. I think a lot of education is just really important on that side, but if they get busy with the injectables, it's hard, so it's easy to delegate. But how do you keep your clients on a consistent skin routine? Because I feel like it's so gradual, and you know, some people are like, oh, I don't have the time, they don't prioritize it. Like, how do you keep that ongoing commitment to skin?
Balanced, yeah. I think setting expectations, and the first time I talk to them, it's like, listen, every transformation you see online is 1 to 2 years. At least those before and afters you're seeing online, oh, it looks so great, I want my skin to transform like this. It's like, yes, okay, that took like a year, maybe 2 years, sometimes 3, 4, 5 kind of thing. So setting expectations very early, this is a journey, and explaining to them why, especially for something like chemical peels, coming in once a month for a chemical peel. Okay, why do I need to come in once a month? Can I come every 3 months? It's like, your skin cycle is about 28 days, which is similar to our natural cycle. If we want to do a chemical peel, we want to do it at the same point in the cycle. So we're training our skin, hey, every month we're getting rid of all these ugly skin cells that aren't working well. We need to start making good functioning, beautiful skin cells. And you're kind of training your body to know what's up. We're creatures of habits. You do something at the same point every month, your body's going to learn.
Do you find that changes with age? So like, for example, collagen production slows as we age, and so it's not as like easy to produce, you know, healthy, thick skin. But for our skin cells every 28 days, say you're 65, let's say, versus 18, how does that change?
It's still relatively the same, because it's the rate at which you're shedding. It's not so much about the collagen. The collagen will start breaking down, but it's your rate of shed like how you shed your skin cells. You know how they say like you have a completely new skin every 7 years, that kind of thing. But it's like every 28 days you're shedding your skin. Now that's an average, of course. Some people it could be longer, some people it could be shorter, but the average is about 28 days.
Okay. That's good to know. It's like, so I actually find that a lot of clients that have been with me a long time that are a little bit older, that have maximized their Botox and fillers, that have negated to take care of their skin. It's like, there's always that piece that's missing.
Yes.
And it becomes even like, not that it wasn't important before, but it becomes more visible, the skin damage as you get older. And a lot of it is the laxity in the skin. So you can only fill so much before it looks overinflated. So you have to be mindful of that. And there should be like a marrying of the two, like you said.
Exactly.
So that's really important. Now, in terms of like maintaining that, how would you recommend other skin specialists maintain that for their patient? Like, how do you encourage clients to come back in after they have a treatment? Even if they had a wonderful treatment, they loved it.
I think getting them to commit to like a set amount of time. So I love Skin Club packages because I'm like, okay, you have this goal, we can achieve this goal. Let's get on it, but you have to commit, because I always tell them you're going to waste your money if you're not. Even if you buy one facial and you're not going to be consistent with it, you're kind of wasting your money. Sure, you have the nice experience, but this isn't a long-term investment. You're going to get the results, but you, one, have to be patient, and two, kind of commit. So I always like packages. I think packages, or like monthly subscriptions, whatever it is, packages better, because then you commit for a certain amount of time. It's like, yes, you're paying this up front, but every appointment you have, you're not worrying about any kind of payment, and you know you're going to stick to it because you put the money into it. So you know you're actually going to achieve it. And I find a lot of the clients that come here for skin, for the most part, they have a concern. They have something that they're looking to address, whether it's acne, pigmentation, rosacea. So they know that they want to fix something. So they're more receptive to committing to it. Sure, we get the odd client that just wants like a facial, they got a gift card, whatever kind of thing. They're just there for the novelty of it. But for the most part, it's concerns. People have actual concerns. They're looking to get goals achieved. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. Going back to the most unpleasant things about being in the aesthetic industry.
Yes. Definitely dealing with some tough clients, that's for sure. And I think also like judgment, period, in this industry. Like, people really judge you for being in this industry. As soon as you tell someone, oh, like I work at a med spa, it's like, oh, what do they do there? Botox and filler. And people are like, oh, like you're that. And you kind of get categorized into this like, oh, you're like plastic Barbie kind of vibe,
and
like,
you're far from that.
No,
very
and like,
intelligent.
Exactly. And more like superficial, like, oh, all she cares about how she looks kind of thing. So I think that's definitely a stigma around this industry as a whole, not just service providers, but even like clients who get these services. It's a whole stigma that all you care about is like how you look, and we're very, very superficial and fake, which is far from the truth. Every single one of our staff is such a genuine, real person. So that's definitely a stigma for this whole industry that you kind of just have to navigate.
And it's hard because I think people, I guess including myself, we're quick to judge people on Instagram that we don't know. If you look like hot and like, sometimes it gives off that air of like that arrogance, but it's nice when people get to see you and hear you talk, because I think it changes things,
changes perspective a little bit.
Absolutely. From both. And I really like the fact that you mentioned about standing your ground with these clients, because honestly, what happens sometimes is if you're too soft, you're too nice, you get run over.
And then
you really do.
And then you do something that you didn't believe in, and maybe you didn't believe in it because you thought it wouldn't work, and then they're mad that it didn't work, and then they blame you, even though they were the ones kind of pressuring for it. Or in like worst case scenario, there's an adverse event, and it's like, you're not going to sleep at night because of that, because you knew that you didn't believe in it. And I think that's the most important thing, is to believe in what you do and not let anyone push over. I'd much rather like a client leave not getting a service done than doing a service I didn't believe in.
Absolutely. I think that's important, is that you're okay with turning away clients. It speaks a lot on credibility if you don't think they're going to be happy. It's not about the money. And I know for our team, like, you're right, we have a really great team. We're all very like-minded individuals, and everyone is so easy to talk to and get along with. And that's what makes it important. No drama.
No drama.
Easy. We all love what we do. And That's it. Well, Trin, it was such a pleasure having you here
Thank
today.
you.
Honestly, to get to know you. I wish you all the best in all of your
you.
adventures. And if you guys haven't had a treatment with Trinity, you literally have to. She has like hands like God. I've heard it from so many people.
Thank you.
So many positive reviews from everyone. And we just love having you here. So thank you so much.
Happy to be here.